Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Models Workshop After Hours, the podcast designed to teach you about miniature painting, gun plus, scale modeling, and all that stuff, make you laugh, kind of fill in for that painting group that you don't have around because, the vid is out there. But also, we're probably going to offend you. Then we're going to make you laugh, offend you again, make you laugh, make you feel bad that you're laughing, and, that sort of thing, because that's kind of what we do. Anyways, right now, we got that FNG Krys in the house. We're waiting on Yeji to join us. So right now, it's just Larry and Mr. McPinkyfuck. So what have you been doing, Krys?
I've been painting a new orc. I paint them randomly for different colors when I get bored. And this guy, I'm kind of basing him off of like a frost orc type of thing. So he's more white and blue skinned than a green orc.
He's a be painting the Skittle orc.
Yeah. Well, I already did like a lava red orc and a kind of a desert orc.
Like I said, you've got the Skittles orcs going on. I'm currently drinking a Bang Radical Skedaddle. Not sponsored, but if Bang wants to, totally would be down with that. I drank enough. I might as well. Actually, I should probably look to see how much it costs to buy some damn stock in their company at this point. Oh, so I went extra today, and actually it was a few days ago, but I got it in the mail today, and I bought myself a light ring, so I can look extra special on my TikToks.
Well, you gotta make yourself look pretty somehow.
It was actually on cheap. I'm on a website called Daily Steals, and so they send me emails whenever, hey, something's on sale or it has a code, and especially if it's a really good deal. So this last week I got a code, and it was for one of those, and it was like, I think it was like sub 20. And I was like, you know what? I see all these you see these things, and they're typically for sale for like ridiculous money, like $40, $50, $60. And I do understand those are going to be better quality normally. But so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. Just like when I got into airbrushing, I went ahead and picked this one up because it was like $20. I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if this damn thing is even worth it. And so I picked it up. I don't know if the damn thing is worth it yet. I haven't really tried that much, but it's kind of neat. It definitely helps, like, whenever I turn on the light. And it's one of those things that I picked up not only for TikTok, because, what else do I do that needs lighting? Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a series of videos. Probably should have lighting for that. So it was just one of those things where I was like, you know what, this thing can be super useful in multiple means. So I went ahead and picked. So other than painting the Skittles orcs, is there anything else you've been doing hobby-wise? Or just...
hobby-wise was watching the Monster Hunter board game finish up, seeing what I got for buying in on that guy. Getting excited about that.
I ended up pledging $1, so I have access to the pledge manager.
Mm-hmm.
And I might back it, but I had a couple bills come up to this week, actually. Mother's Day, so I bought Kara a nice Garmin watch because she lost her Fitbit a few years ago, and she really loved it. And so I was like, you know what, I'll replace it. So I bought her a Garmin, and then the battery in her car died.
Oh.
So, no. It gets better. So she has a H7 form factor battery, which is a really weird form factor to begin with, and it's a gel battery on top of that. Yeah. So this, I'm sitting in AutoZone, and I was like, okay, she has this car, and he's like, all right, cool, let me look it up, and all I hear from behind the counter is, oh wow. And I'm like, I was like, oh shit.
That's not good.
If the manager of the auto parts store that you're shopping at goes, oh damn, randomly, that's not a good sign as for your wallet. And he's like, yeah, so I got some bad news. And I was like, oh, this is, because batteries in and of themselves are always going to be, $100 for a decent one. So I was like, oh, I'm sitting there, I was like, okay. And he's like, it's $200 because
it could be worse.
It could be worse. It really could. But it's one of those things I wasn't planning to put a specially aftermarket battery into the car, but that's what it comes stock with. I was like, really? It comes with an 800 cold cranking amp, gel battery. It doesn't have acid, it has gel in it. And so I was just like, are you kidding me? So it has a specialty battery. And that's the type of battery that like audio enthusiasts put in their cars for the extra boom as they put the gel battery. But because of how they manage with electronics. But yeah, so there was $200 right there. I was like, oh, okay, well, goody. Oh, goody.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I've got new Pokemon Snap. Miniature wise, just painting random things here and there, trying to finish up my Boom Shaka, and that's about it.
Yeah, miniature wise, I really haven't done anything. Last week, my brother and his best friend and everything, and a couple other people came over, and we were installing a fence in our backyard. So the doggies would have a place to play. We got about 1 of 3 rows done, which, yeah, that was definitely a lot more work than we thought it was going to be. Like, I went out and bought a gas-powered auger and everything. Like, okay, we're going to kick this thing's ass.
Get it done and over with.
Right. There was like 6 of us working, and it wrecked all of us. It toasted every single one. It just completely kicked our ass. Not even gonna lie, not even gonna try. Oh, it was okay. No, it stomped a literal mud hole into me. So
the one time when I lived in California, we had to put a fence up on base housing. So we went through, we're digging, like, oh, this thing's fucking hard to dig. What the hell's going on? You know what? We're gonna be smart. We're gonna pour water into it, let it soak overnight. Let us see how it is in the morning. Okay, awesome, good idea. Pour water into it, pour like a little pitcher of water into it just so it soaks and makes the soil drier or wetter to make it easier to dig. This is during the summer. Lo and behold, we found out, oh look, your house was built on clay.
Yeah, that type of stuff usually a good idea.
So we woke up the next morning and the water was still there because it had nowhere to go because it was in clay. Yeah, that was no fun.
Here's your sign.
Yep. Welcome to Southern California.
Oh, actually, Southern California. I'm surprised they have clay there, to tell you the honest truth.
And where base housing was, there was clay everywhere.
I figured it'd be more sand.
Sandy? No. Other places were, it was just having where the houses were built, there was clay. All the fire breaks were sand. But...
So I did hire somebody to make us a logo for Models Workshop for all the people that have been grumping and grumbling about us wanting merch and they want merch for Models Workshop. We do have a logo in the process of being designed. This person does come with a high recommendation from a friend of mine. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing her work. And I don't know when it's going to come back because I was like, hey, we're not in a super rush. We've been using the same logo now for 6-7 years, some crazy amount of time. So I was like, yeah, we don't need it in a rush. But I'm not going to lie. I can't wait to see it.
I'm actually excited to see it also.
Yeah, I think hopefully a lot of people are, because it's not cheap. I mean, it's not ridiculously expensive either, but it's definitely not ridiculously cheap. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna pay, and
you pay for your work.
Right, exactly. How many people we've been friends with who have complained about people lowballing them and do it for exposure, man, and that type of bullshit. So I'm not going to do it to this other person. They gave me a price. It definitely was more than what I was expecting it to be. I had a number in my head, and I was like, and they gave me.
Was it way over the number, or was it just like
twice what my number was?
Oh.
But like I said, having dealt with other professionals and having dealt with folks in the industry long enough, I mean,
technically they're a specialist.
And they are. And they absolutely, you're 110% right. They absolutely are. They know how to do something that I don't. And it was just simply, they gave me the price. I was like, damn, that's more than I was wanting to spend, but I understand it. You know, they were explaining everything. They're like, hey, but we have this cost and this cost. I was like, oh, you don't need to explain. I totally understand why your price is what your price is. It was just, I was expecting
sticker shock.
a little bit. Like I was expecting A, they told me B, but I understand why B is B because, they have a specialty subsect of something that they do and I can't do it because if I could do it, I would do it, even if it took me a little bit longer. And, I could have probably slugged something out and made it work and all of that jazz. But, this is something that's going to go on hats. This is something that's going to go on stickers. This is something that's going to go on all of this stuff. So, and hopefully it looks cool enough that people also want to buy and help support Models Workshop as well. So it can't be ugly. I want someone to be able to wear it. And, if this generates enough cash, what I'll end up doing is I will end up doing other projects that are miniature related, that are kind of cool and, just painter centric type stuff. And hopefully, maybe make a little bit of a market. But yeah, so yeah, a little bit of sticker shock, actually a lot of bit of sticker shock, but it's not like it's $1,000 or anything. So
that would be almost a ripoff for, depending on how big the logo is or type of thing.
Right. And there's other factors that are going into it too. Like I actually need to message them because I need it as a vector file with all the elements separate in it. So I can make an animated logo using it. And, this just stuff like that. And all the little stuff is going to increase the cost and all of that. It's just, it's what it is, I'm not going to sit there and, oh no, that's too expensive. You should do it for exposure.
I'm sorry, I hate those people.
Here's the thing, if I'm going to do something with someone, I want it to be beneficial for both of them. And
I mean, if they come up to you asking you to expose them, that's a little bit different.
Right. And that's why I've kind of changed my methodology when I taught in tech companies. I've had companies that I contact and ask them, hey, do you have a discount for people who are doing reviews and stuff? And they ended up just sending me. Turbo Dork did that, and I really need to do some videos for them. But that was like
I actually have a few of their paints. I'm trying to figure out.
And here's the thing: I've recommended them numerous times. So
I got my daughter helped me pick out one of them, which was the bubblegum pink one.
That one's a nice one. I think I actually might have recommended them to you.
I got that. I got the pucker yellow and the afterburner metal.
Oh, that one's a nice one too. For anyone, okay, so I'm one of the first people to complain about an overabundance of different paint companies, brush companies, and everything else on the market because it just seems like people keep rehashing the same damn stuff. Every now and then you get a company that offers something new and everything. And honestly, I love Turbo Dork simply because they actually filled a niche that at the time wasn't there. This is before everybody else came out with their color shifting paints and all this jazz.
The pearlescence.
Well, pearlescence were there, but they weren't as prevalent. The color shifting really wasn't there. Turbo Dork came and ran with it, and they actually have an amazing product. I love their product. Their colors tend to be unique compared to a lot of the other companies that are out there. Your Vallejo or your Green Stuff World. And so... And also, I might add that they haven't done anything controversial, unlike some of the companies I just mentioned. So that's always a nice thing. And they're a good company. Like, okay, so one of my local game shops actually started our stockist for Turbo Dork, which made me incredibly happy. And it means I don't have to mail order it. I can literally just get it from a local gaming shop. Sweet. Well, their original batch that they got in froze because it was right during the middle of those really, really cold winters. So their original batch froze en route. And, the game store, the company could have been like, well, tough shit. They didn't. They sent out a complete, they were like, hey, don't even bother with them. don't even try to salvage them. We're just going to send you a whole new rack. And they did. They sent them a whole new rack. But in all fairness, most of those paints were not salvageable. I actually got to deal with some of the paints that were frozen, and holy shit. Yeah, those paints don't handle cold weather well. And, but they also changed the way they ship stuff during the winter, too. They modified their shipping method, so an issue like that won't come up again, hopefully. And, or barring any really weird circumstances, that type of stuff shouldn't happen again.
That's cool.
Yeah, they actually ship them in insulated packages now.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, it's cheaper to then have to replace one out of. Well, okay. So what happened was it was like the perfect storm of everything. It was right as the election was starting, right as Christmas started coming around, and then the mail service was just absolutely raffle stomped.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything was getting delayed. And it was right when a really, really, really cold snap hit. So, and it just basically, they sat in trucks and they froze.
Yeah, that much they can do about it. I think postage is still behind, aren't they?
I'm not 100% sure. I know UPS was actually looking for helpers not that long ago. A lot of places are getting slammed pretty hard and heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually working on a model.
What you working on?
It's an old Elysian model. It's one of those little truck buggies that they had for the Elysian army that was discontinued because guy. So it may have come from a place down under, but it's the only place.
Okay.
The problem is it's like the only place you can get them because even most of the ones that are on eBay are fakes too.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one just to play with because I've always loved this model. And it was that model that got discontinued before I could buy any of them. I wanted to build this entire army, and then they discontinued it.
Speaking of armies, the Minotaurs, Space Marines, I just found out about them recently. Yeah. How do you follow chapters that don't have books?
Okay, so chapters that don't have books. You have the best of... Okay, so there's like two different ways you can do. You can run them as just a... Normally what'll happen is you can run them as a Space Marine chapter. Just run them as El Generico Space Marine chapter. Now, that sucks because that means you don't have access to special characters. So another way you can do that is you can find out what chapter they came from.
Okay.
Or you can just pick a chapter that they're from if it's not clear, and then you play them as that chapter. Like if they're Imperial Guard, if they're a successor to the Imperial Guard, you can run them as an Imperial Guard army.
There's a lot of unknown with the Minotaurs.
Right. I actually think the Minotaurs have characters, but they're Forge World.
They're Forge World. They have 2 for Forge World.
Yeah, that's more than a lot of people. Another thing you can do is, depending on your group, is you can come up with... And okay, so this is another thing that's really cool about the Codex, is you can kind of design your army to be your army. You can tailor it for your play style using command points and everything else. Or you can just kind of come up with your own mini codex. And I've seen people that have done this. It's been happening since 2nd edition. But what you can do is you can kind of design your own codex and be like, hey, I'm going to run them like this. Here's my codex that I designed. If you don't mind, I want to use it. Do you have a problem with that? And what do you have a problem with? And then they can go like, oh, I don't like this right here. I think that's... And, it depends on the player. A lot of players, as long as when they look at them, they go, and they look okay, and you don't try to Velveeta it up, then they're going to be pretty cool with, homebrew stuff. As long as you put thought in it. Be like, okay, I can replace, this squad with this here because this is my fluff. And... it's a balancing act. You can't have it broken.
Min-maxing it type of thing.
Don't min-max it. If you're going to design a codex, it should be designed to be fun. If you're going to design a min-max, shouldn't just use your El Vanilla codex and all that jazz. Don't try to make a fan dex. A fan dex should be something that's fun, something that is yours and all of that. And it's something, it should also be like a work in progress. It should be, if you find it something is just absolutely too weak, fix it. Make it a little bit stronger. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't try to make it broken. And if you do find something that's broken, take it and dumb it down a little bit. Be like, okay, hey, sorry about that. I realized having 4 land raiders in a single squad is a bit much. So I'm going to go ahead and tone it down so the next game it won't be that. And hopefully it won't be uber broken anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And self-editing and it will also keep your play group happy. You know, if you raffle stomp them and you don't do anything to change, then they're not going to play or allow you to play your codex anymore. But if you're constantly changing your codex up to make it where it's not El Brocano, then they're going to be more likely to let you continue play testing your...
Okay.
So those are the main way. I would say the 3 main ways to play them as generic and design your own codex around it. Build a codex, but make sure it's fair and balanced, or figure out if there's a successor chapter, or figure out an army you want to play. If you want to go ahead and do a pure homebrew thing, and then design your army around that chapter, the actual chapter itself.
Because I know they have the pamphlet you can print offline is create your own chapter, so you can color it and then try to paint it after that.
Right. That's a little different. I understand if you want to make your own, I'm going to completely, Daka used to, I'm not 100% sure if they still do, but Daka used to have a Space Marine builder that you could go on and actually build your own Space Marine as well and color it online, and you could change it on the fly, so you didn't have to print out 200 different little flyers and try to change them up and make it where you didn't have to color it in 700 times. Well, and no shame if that's your gig, if that's something you like, but some people just want to be like, oh, they don't want to have to recolor everything if they want to see what a different helm looks like.
Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be kind of funny as a joke to create a kill team or something like that have 5 Marines, each Power Ranger color, and then a Dreadnought or something as the Zord.
Hey, you know what? I have literally seen a Barbie Marine army, and I have seen a full-fledged My Little Pony army.
Oh God. Yeah.
So, you do you, boo. If that's something you want to do and you want to take it all the way, then rock it. Do it. It's one of those things where, this game is supposed to be fun. I absolutely hate the entire tournament scene of this game because I don't see this game as being a tournament game. I see this game as I've said it in the past, I play Beer Hammer. I'm not out there trying to take a list to the world championships and play in a Grand Prix. I honestly don't see this game as being one of those games that's designed to play in a tournament. I just don't.
Almost too much luck, personally. With the dice and all, it could be.
The game is the way I look at it. The game is too slow to really be a tournament game. And if you play it in 1 hour rounds, and I've played in a couple tournaments, it just seems like you're having to rush through everything. Kind of takes the fun out of it. But in the same token, I don't even really play Magic all that much as a tournament game. I've gotten more into the Commander, relax, maybe a League here. And
I feel like tournament for Magic got pretty toxic for a while. I dropped Magic because of it.
Magic in itself got toxic, so I've kind of took a break from buying stuff. I did buy a pack a couple days ago and pulled a $300 card.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
You paid for your battery.
Yeah. It was, I pulled the second most expensive chase card out of the set. So
nice.
Yeah. It was a foil Japanese alternate art time warp.
And you're into the sleeve it goes?
Actually, sad enough, it's sitting in the car, wrapped up in its booster pack. I really should probably go get it.
I thought about taking the cards I have here at the house and go trading them in for and see how much I get, and maybe go buy some more paints with them. Since I don't play at all.
And mine are sitting over on a shelf. Yeah, maybe I'll get back into it one of these days. There's been a couple spikes recently, really expensive spikes. It's okay, cool. Did I just break that? I told him this probably wasn't going to fit without it being.
That sounds fun.
It's just a bad cap. All right, I have time or effort or the patience to scrape and Dremel all that. Plus, my Dremel's downstairs, so let me find another project to do that don't require me breaking it. Oh,
Speaking breaking shit, how's Pinky coming?
He's still sitting.
When
Staring.
Monster Hunter comes in, would you want to paint any of the monsters?
No. I think you would learn that asking me to paint something is a mistake.
I know it's a mistake, but I'm asking if you, because mine, I asked if you didn't really want to paint it.
Are you
So
gonna
I
are you
didn't
gonna
really.
move out here and sit here and come up to my studio and paint with me?
And sadly, no, I can't.
Then no.
I've never painted anything on a 10 by 12 size, 10 inch by 12 inch scale before.
Those things are. Let me actually get into painting and see if I can start knocking stuff out. I got board games that I bought behind me that I've been meaning to paint, like my Ninja Turtles.
I may just play the game without even painting it.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it. It's not designed to be. I mean, it is and it's not. Arguably, Cool Mini is a miniature company that does do painting competitions and everything. But, their board games are designed to be played unpainted as well. It's not a requirement to play their games.
Yeah.
Oh, no, hold up a second. Wrong company. It's not Cool Mini that put out that game. Who did put it? Is it Steamforge?
That sounds about right.
I think it's Steamforge. I think Steamforge put out that game. There it is. Sorry, Steamforge. I didn't mean to insult you. Hold on a second. And my head. All right. Podcast. So, speaking of headphones, have you heard of Sennheiser?
Negative.
All right. So, any audiophile friends that are out there that have heard of Sennheiser, they sold their entire consumer audio division, all of their headphones, all of that stuff. And I'm like, what? Because they make some amazing headphones, and that actually might be part of their downfall. Sadly enough, that might be, in all honesty, part of the downfall is they
went too far one way.
No. A lot of people who are using Sennheiser stuff is using Sennheiser. Okay, for one of their most popular designs hasn't been changed since like the mid 90s and is still one of the better quality headphones that are on the market. So there's not a lot of innovation. If you're not okay, so if you build a product that a person buys brand new in the mid 90s and the only thing they have to do is change the earmuffs or ear pads every once in a while, and they're still rocking like, whoa. Yeah, you made a great product, but you've kind of defeated yourself. I'm not saying... Well, yeah, in a way. I'm not saying you should build an inferior product like some companies do and just trickle out upgrades. Apple, Samsung, to name two. They basically put it's like, hey, we're going to make this beautiful design. Yeah, these are $600 headphones, but once you buy them once, you're done. There's no real room for improvement. Like Bose, they through the years, Bose has released minor tweaks here and there on their audio equipment. Like the 301 Series 3, Series 4, Series 5. They've made little improvement here and there. Well, these guys basically made the end all of a product, and it was affordable, and it's kind of they did it to themselves in a weird way. They made such a good product that people just don't have to buy any more. Yeah, okay, they do have Bluetooth headphones now and everything else, but if you're looking for audiophile grade stuff, one purchase for 30 years and you're done. And it's really weird too, because they sold their company. I mean, okay, weird, no, because it's a hearing aid company. Sennheiser was purchased by a hearing aid company. So I'm kind of going, while they both deal with audio, I'm kind of looking at both of them and going, one's dealing with people who are deaf or going deaf, and the other one is dealing for people that want a really premium product for audio. It's just, while they're similar, they seem to be worlds apart too. But
Same book, different chapters.
No. Same genre, different authors, different setting. But they were sold to a Swiss company called Sonova. So it's kind of one of those things. Are they going to continue the Sennheiser brand as a consumer audio department? Or are they just buying it to utilize their technology in what they have already? Are they doing I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's really weird. And this is like breaking news. This happened like yesterday. And as a person who's a bit of an audiophile, I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. Maybe I should go buy myself a set of Sennheisers to listen or to have. And also another problem that they're having is there are clones of Sennheisers now that are damn near the same quality as Sennheisers. Like, I don't think what I have are Sennheiser clones. I think what I have are Audio Teutonica clones. But like, you put them on, and I've had a set of Audio Teutonica headphones, and they're damn near the same. But these were only $40 versus $400 for the ATs. Yeah. And the reason I went cheap on these is because I needed corded headphones for the podcast, and I needed like 3 or 4 pairs of them. So I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah, go.
The microphones and everything else has already cost me several $1,000s. I can't exactly. I mean, I could, but I actually needed them kind of in a rush. Like, I kind of need them like right now. So
I need to go pick up a pair of headphones and a new mic.
I can help you out with that.
I know you can.
I really need to do an episode of nothing but how to set up a podcast and like what equipment to get. I've been saying this forever. I really need to have a podcast special where I explain about all the different ins and outs of doing a podcast.
I didn't realize how bad I sounded until I actually listened to the podcast. I don't sound horrible, but it could be better.
Yeah, this is how you've always sounded to me. So you're going to get a new mic. I'm going to be like, who the hell is this? Because every time I've ever dealt with you, you've always been on a gaming headset.
Yep. Yeah, that's mostly what I do is game. So
you got game, fool.
Sometimes.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm tired. This is the worst part about podcasting, in all honesty, is that I wake up super early in the morning and then I have to podcast and it's late at night. And I think that's probably one of the hardest parts about podcasting is that by the time we podcast, I'm just tired.
You're at the end of your energy and stuff like that.
Right? I think that's the main thing. So if I don't, and plus we had all right, so Joe ended up having his second COVID shot and had a bad reaction to it. So I ended up taking over driving one day, and I normally take over driving about 7 or 8 in the morning and then drive into the night. And I ended up having to take over at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oof.
So my entire schedule has been off this week. Like, I've been going to bed ridiculously early because my entire internal clock got rolled back like 4 hours one day. So I'm just like, tired.
Yeah, my second shot didn't really kick my butt at all, but it just made me tired and cold.
Yeah, he like with him, he didn't have any real side effects with the first one, like none. His arm was a little sore. That was it. Me, it kind of kicked my butt. On his second one, he got all of the side effects. It seemed like he got all the side effects from the first and the second shot at the same time, and it floored him. Like, he looked bad. Like, it was to the point where our dispatch was like, "Hey, if you guys need to stop, just stop," because we're not the type of team that calls out for little shit. So, if we're calling in, it's usually something pretty serious. If I call in for like in the winter, if I call in for something weather related, if I call in, I'm like, "Hey, I'm stopping because of the snow." My boss doesn't even question it because he has seen what I'm willing to drive through. And if I'm going, we need to pull over, that means shit has hit the fan. Like, it's whiteout. Like, one time we stopped this winter, it was like pure whiteout conditions. I couldn't see anything. I'm like, it's not that I don't trust my driving. It's just I can't see. I don't know if someone stopped or wrecked in the middle of the road. I don't know if there's a moose standing in the road. I'm just going to go ahead and pull over because I can't see. I just can't see. Yeah. My big thing is usually I don't pull over because I'm lacking my skill. It's more so I'm kind of looking at other people going, I don't trust you. I'm going to go ahead and pull over now.
Surprised you haven't started making one of those YouTube channels of people driving badly. Considering I'm pretty sure you have not a webcam, but a dash cam.
Okay, so part of the reason I don't is that, let's say I drive for 14 hours and then there's like 3 occurrences of someone just doing something really stupid. That's a lot of footage to go over and all that jazz.
You know how to edit footage.
Right. Oh, so they announced a new, well, not a new army, but they announced some new, okay. They announced a new 9th edition army coming out soon.
Oh, who?
The Sisters of Battle, the Adeptus Sororitas, whatever,
Okay.
however you pronounce it. But they did announce a new army coming out. Trying to find the blurb about it. Oh, Sisters of Battle Squad. Yeah, new. It was probably on the community website. Probably should dare. But yeah, the new Adeptus Sororitas. I'm butchering that. I know I am. They are releasing some new stuff. The new codex has been announced. They did release some new units as well. Why is it so hard to find something about them? Yep, and this is how. Yes, because we are absolutely and 110% totally prepped for all of this stuff.
What are you talking about? We always are, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh Lord, let's go to Bell of Lost Souls because I don't like that.
It's not like we take notes on during the week trying to remember topics and stuff.
Rumors so they have a new tank that's coming out. It looks like a mix between a Predator and possibly like a Layman Russ. Like it looks like a Predator. It really does. It looks like a Predator, except the main battle cannon's a lot bigger. The turret has been redesigned. The smokestacks are redesigned as well, and like the front gun. It's definitely Sisters oriented, but it's based off of the Rhino / Predator chassis. I like it. The turret's bigger. At least it looks bigger than the standard Predator, which I really dig. I always thought the Predator turret was a little on the smaller side.
Mm-hmm.
So really, seriously, all they have is the damn tank. Back. Let's go to the website. That's where I should have went. But yeah, I definitely like the new tank. I think that it fits. I actually like it more than the standard Predator. What else? So the new codex is also coming out. They did announce that as well. I have to say, they went from not releasing any news to releasing all of the news, I swear. Since like May 1st, there's like 50 posts about different news and everything. It's like, holy shit, man. Okay, I know the Sisters weren't that far back, were they? Maybe they were.
Orcs recently got a new codex, didn't they? I mean, it's not like 9th edition codex, but...
Oh, I think they were towards the end. Oh, finally, good. Yes, it's back in April. I didn't realize it. All right, so...
I mean, it is only mid-May, so...
They have a new standard bearer, and... All right, so I don't know if it's me, but the new Sisters models look taller. Like, not as broad in the shoulders, but a lot taller. Almost like, I don't know, almost like a Primaris in a way. They got a new standard bearer, and the standard is absolutely huge. So that's kind of cool. Oh, come on. Really? That's it? The damn banner? Where's all the news, man? Where's all the news? Of course, I go back, and now it puts me back in the middle of May. Anyways, yeah, Sisters have a bunch of really new, as everyone has already clicked off, Sisters have a whole bunch of new models coming out, and they look really cool. I like them a lot. Not gonna lie, I kind of looked at them and went, damn, I really don't want another army, but those look really,
more money.
Really good. I want to say, didn't the Orcs get a new model recently?
I have no idea. Maybe. All the models are new to me, so I really have no idea.
No, like I'm talking like new as in new even since you started playing, like in the last month or so. I thought they
really?
I thought they got something new. I could be completely and absolutely wrong. I probably am.
You're in that realm more than I am.
That's what I'm saying. I could have swore I saw something about a new orc. I could be completely wrong though. Probably am. Oh, so I don't know if this is going to be too late. Let me check out over at Humble Bundle. I don't know if anyone actually. I'm sure everyone uses Humble Bundle, but Humble Bundle had a, what was it, 26 or 27 Warhammer 40K books for...
I want to say I picked that up by accident because I thought that was actually the books.
Oopsie.
And I was like, okay.
Oh, let's see. Coming soon. Books. Heavy metal. Nope, must be over. Yeah, it looks like it's over. Damn. But yeah, and I actually didn't pick it up. So, but yeah, it was like 26. And this is something you want to keep an eye on too. It's because Black Library actually does a pretty decent amount with Humble Bundle. So if you want Black Library books, just, kind of pop over there every so often and see what they have.
Now I gotta remember how to navigate Humble Bundle.
Go to humblebundle.com, look on the lower left-hand side, and it should say bundle, and you click on it and all of that jazz.
I mean, the stuff that I bought?
Oh, no, you have to...
There it is. My profile, purchases.
Yeah, there we go. What you said.
Library.
I'm wondering when I'm going to get my refund of my refund.
No, wrong one. Gotta log out. Wrong email.
Want. But, leg cramp. Yeah.
Hey Larry, you shouldn't do that.
I'm just sat the wrong way, and the muscle was like, ooh, I'm going to cramp up now. And it hurt.
Yeah, I think I did it a while back, and I went to go start reading it, and I realized what it was actually codex is. It's like, oh, not what I wanted. But I got the Death Watch bundle. So I got like the Rites of Battle, Fallen Star.
Oh, you got you got the RPG bundle.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking, the one I'm talking about is actual Black Library books, like the ones that you read.
Yeah. That's the one, that's what I thought they were. So I was like, oh, sweet. So I picked it up, and it happened to be the RPG version. So I got those. I forgot about that. I went through and bought the Judge Dredd novels and forgot about those. I have to read those.
Oh. So, speaking of books and everything, you know who Andy Weir is, right?
I think so.
The Martian?
Yes.
Okay. So he released a new book. I
saw that.
Yeah. And it was one of those deals where I picked it up. I'm an Ander. So everyone can make fun of me and laugh at me for me mispronouncing everything so anytime Andy releases a new book, I pre-order it. It's pretty much automatic. I mean, he's only released 3 books, so it's not exactly like it's a hard thing. But I pre-ordered Artemis, and the new one's called Project Hail Mary. Artemis was okay. It was a good read. It was fun. But on the same token, it just... I don't know. It didn't grab me like The Martian did. I've listened to The Martian 3 times, and it's been done by 2 different narrators. And I've listened to both versions of it. Actually, I listened to both versions of it back to back. Because I wanted to get a feel, because it was originally done by R.C. Bray, which is one of my favorite narrators of all time. And something happened where the book rights were sold or some craziness. And
I think they had to get renewed and something like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it had to get renewed, and it didn't get renewed, and they wanted Andy or RC to do it, but he was busy, so he couldn't do it, so they got Will Wheaton to do it. So basically, I listened to both of them to see which version I liked more. I do honestly admit I like the R.C. Bray version. He just has more of a gritty sound to his voice. Will always sounds like a kid to me. Always.
Well, we grew up with him as a kid.
Well, I mean, even now that he's older, he still sounds like a teenager. So I had a bit of a hard time believing that he's this 30-something botanist I don't know. It just didn't sell it to me all that well. It was a good narration, don't get me wrong. But for me, Will Wheaton does, what's the series what book did he narrate that? Ready Player One. His Ready Player One was great because I can see him doing that role. While the Martian, I just didn't feel it. I felt the R.C. Bray performance better.
Thanks for saying Ready Player One. I've been meaning to add that to my Audible.
It's amazing.
I could not get into the book itself. I don't know. But I'll try that one out. I've also thought about trying to get into Dune and the Audibles.
I absolutely hated it. So Yeah, I thought the book was absolutely boring as all hell. I got about halfway through and I finally was like, I'm done. I'm just done. All the weird names
Mm-hmm.
kind of got to me, and I just didn't get into it. I really, really didn't. It's one of those books I'm just like, nah.
The one series I got into was Will White's Unsold series. It's a little God, I'm going to explain a book that I'm not going to explain books about. It's he just released his newest one recently, and I listened to it. It's about a kid who gets everyone has their soul tested when they're 14 or whatever, and he becomes unsold because his soul doesn't activate anything. So it's him trying to get through the world of his thing, and it just goes on to his kind of unique take of the world. I kind of liked it.
That sounds neat.
The first 6 or 7 of them are free.
Oh, wow.
And then the last 2 are you got to pay credit for them on Audible. So if you're wanting to pick up something maybe you might like, try it out. It's free.
Yeah, send that to me. I'll send me the name of it. I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, it's Project Hail Mary. I liked it almost as much as The Martian. Like, in some aspects, I liked it. His sarcasm definitely came through, but he wasn't as sarcastic as he was in The Martian, which is one reason I love The Martian. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's at least 4 times that it literally made me laugh out loud, just spontaneously laugh. Not like, oh, that's really funny, but like just straight up caught me so off guard that I was like, that's funny. That type of stuff. The character interactions that are in the book are amazing. The story plot is, at least from what I've seen, kind of unique. I haven't really seen that before. I was like, I just really enjoyed it. It was I read the book. Okay, so I started that book during my session of driving super ridiculously early, and I didn't finish it. It's like 10 hours and some change. I didn't finish it that day, mainly because I was so tired by the end of the day that I was just losing chunks of the book. So I was like, I'm going to stop, because if not, I'm going to end up ruining the ending because I'm not able to focus. And then it's going to ruin the last hour of the book. So I went ahead and stopped, rewound it like 15 minutes, and then started the next day and listened to it to finish it. Otherwise, it would have been a one-day finish. I really wanted to. I was just ridiculously tired.
It takes me at my work about 3 days to finish a 10-hour book, just because I had to pause it and talk to people and stuff like that while I'm working. So
I have a hard time listening to a book just completely straight. I usually take little breaks here and there. It really takes a compelling book to get me just to listen to it in one go.
The Cradles, it's actually not Unsold, it's called Cradle series, actually got me into doing that. I was listening to it on a car ride home. I was at work, I was listening to it. Before bed, I was listening to it. I was just into it, which was really nice.
Oh.
And I did send it to you, Larry.
Okay, that's what this came through.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm trying out Vallejo's Arctic Blue metallic color on my guy. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, I like Vallejo's colors, and they do have some interest.
I do not like their Signal Red. It's more pink than red. That made me mad when I got it.
I've seen colors like that, and I think it's the reflective property.
I think so.
Where because it's reflecting so much white light, when it phases the red in, it has more of a pink appearance than the red appearance.
Like, I was painting it was like a candy apple. I was like, okay, I like this red. And it dried and it went to like a pink. What? No. I haven't tried painting red, like a deep red underneath it and then that red. I don't know if that works better.
See, what I usually do is I'll paint silver and then layer like a transparent red over it.
Okay.
And that's how I usually do. Well, I mean, yes and no. It depends on what effect you want. Like, if you're looking for a deep metallic red, then there are reds that you can buy, or you can add a little bit of red on top of it to make it show up as more red.
Turbo Dork's Red Rum was what I was wanting.
There was also, what is it, spaghetti and meatballs? It's another reason I love Turbo Dork, is that they have some really interesting names.
Yeah, they do.
but we are moving. Oh, okay.
Who's moving?
Turbo Dork apparently is moving, so their website's down. Damn it!
No.
I mean, they're not closed, and they should be reopened tomorrow or the next day. I just happened to look on their website. I wonder if they're moving. Like moving, like to a new house, or if they're moving to a new, bigger location because they're growing. I know, like when they first opened up, they were expecting A, and they ended up getting like A times 15.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like they were having a hard time mixing enough paint. Oh, what was their story? It was hilarious in a way. So they printed what they thought would be a year or two worth of labels, and they burned through those labels in like 2 or 3 months.
Oh, Jesus.
So they had to go, and they burned through them so quickly that they couldn't even get a reorder in time. So they actually had to stop selling paints because they didn't have labels for the bottles. And they said it wasn't because they weren't prepared for it. They said that they bought, several thousand labels. They just didn't expect to sell several thousand bottles of paint like the first few months of being in business. They figured it was going to take them a year or something. But personally, and to go back to what I was talking about, is they offered something that no one else had at the time. And in all honesty, you look at their color range, and that's part of the reason I was going to their website. If you go to their website and look at their colors when they're open, they have color combinations that other companies just don't. Like they have some very unique ones. They've got colors like seafood, which is really cool looking, 3D, 4D. I think it's spaghetti and meatballs. It might just be meatball. They've got, and all these colors are just gorgeous. Like 3D and 4D, love both of them. Crystal Cavern, love it. And
I have to check that out later.
Crystal Cavern is almost like a white pearl with a little bit of hollow flake in it. And it looks really good on black, but it also looks amazing on white. It really gives it an icy, because it has, so the hollow flake that's in it is like purples and light blues, light purples and light blues. So when it goes on, it has that nice pearl look to it, but then it has that little bit extra hollow flake in it that really makes it pop. And it looks really good on, it gives darker colors like an icy look, but on white, it gives this magical appearance. It's like pearl and then some. And it looks gorgeous. And that's one thing about these color shifting paints is they do recommend a lot of the times to put them over darker colors because that really makes them show. But don't be afraid to experiment by adding them to other colors that is not on the quote unquote recommended list, because you end up finding these weird combinations that really pop in a different way. Like, you could put the 4D over a red and it's going to show up differently than if you put 4D over a blue. And it might end up having a color combination that really speaks to you and something that you really like. So it's one of those things. Don't be afraid to be a mad scientist and do the inspections and to test things and see if you can make them better, or if you can make them appear differently than how other people are going to do it. Some of the cooler paint jobs that I've ever done has just simply been spraying or painting something that's normal over something else that's normal, but the color combination popped out and people are like, that's so cool. What did you do? And it's like, I put this one paint on top of this other paint, and this is what it looks like. It wasn't special. It was just experimenting, trying different color combinations, trying different, putting different colors that are normally not put on top of each other. And they had this really unique and cool looking experience or appearance. And that was just through pure tinkering around, spraying colors. There's been times that I've been clearing out my airbrush and sprayed a color over another color. And I'm like, oh, that kind of looks interesting. Maybe I should try that out. It's like Bob Ross says, there are no mistakes, there's happy accidents. And that goes the same in miniature painting. You might screw up, but it might make something show up that you weren't expecting it, but it might be something to look at in the future.
So Speaking of unexpected, for me, I'm having a problem with painting orcs because their pants, I always want to paint them brown, but I have no idea what color like to paint them as. Like my brain is automatically making them like leather pants.
Well, I mean, I've seen camo pants,
Mm-hmm.
like people paint them in BDU style, and they look pretty good. I've seen them black, red. They're orcs. You could literally paint them whatever color you want, and it's going to be fine because they're orcs.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the good and bad and scary parts of orcs is that you can paint them however the hell you want to. Just because most earth plants are green doesn't mean, honestly, that the orcs have to be. I've seen an army of orcs that were painted red, and they look great. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's however you want to do it. If you want to do them all in leather breeches, that's totally fine. If you want to add a little bit to the mix, paint some in BDU, paint them brown, paint them OD green. It's whatever looks good to you. I mean, and
Actually,
that's what when someone like goes to pick a new army, I ask them, it's like, are you getting into the game to have fun? Are you wanting to be competitive? If you're wanting to be competitive, go talk to someone else because that's not my gig. But if you're wanting to paint, and it's not, I'm not going to mislead a person and go,
that's fair.
oh, well, you should do this. I can give them some general advice, be like, oh, I heard that Demons list is currently really awesome, or this Necron
Oh.
list, I've heard it's pretty good, but that's outside of my realm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like someone coming who plays Magic and goes, hey, I want to build a control deck. Not my gig. I've heard, Mud or these other decks. This is what is going on good, but you should go talk to my buddy Jason. He's a control player. He's going to give you the ins and outs of it. And the same goes for miniature games too. If you want to play for fun, there's going to be an army out there that talks to you. And I know that sounds really weird. But there's going to be an army that you look at and you're just like, oh, hell yeah. That's, I love the way that looks. And it could be Tau, but a lot of people dog on Tau because they were made to sell to the anime fanboys and the mech boys and stuff like that. And the Gunpla players are the people that build Gunpla. And that's fine. I don't agree with people going, oh, it's silly because the only reason these were made. Because, honestly, the way we get better stuff is to have more players, more people buying
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I love the Tau for those reasons. I love mechs. Always have loved mechs. I played Mech Commander and Mech Warrior ever since they were first games that came out. So the Tau army, that's one of the armies that spoke to me, even though I've been playing longer than Tau have existed. But when I saw them, I was like, oh, I like those. I like the way they look. Those are the model. I can imagine doing this to them, this to them, this to them. And that's what you need to find. You need to find that army that when you look at them and you go, oh, I can imagine doing this. Like orcs. Orcs talk to me pretty loud. I am not even gonna lie. I love the way orcs look. I love their vehicles. I want to build a Speed Freaks army with nothing but vehicles and all that jazz. But it terrifies me to get into orc because I only own
Orcs.
I only own 2 houses. I don't have enough room to have that many orcs. So it's one of those deals where I force myself to stay away from orcs because I know my personal lack of limitations when it comes to buying stuff, and I'll end up with 10,000 orc models. But it's one of those where you look at a model, like the new Sisters models. I looked at them and I'm like, I like the way they look. I can imagine painting them like this and this and this. And same with the Tau. But I look at Chaos and I'm like, I tried getting into Chaos. I actually painted a couple models, but after painting those couple of models, I was just like, nah, I just don't feel it anymore. But, the Tau and Eldar, Space Marine, stuff like that, that's the type of stuff that really goes, hey, look at me, and I can see myself painting them in tons of different ways. And I think, honestly, if you're not in it to just win it, that is one of the best ways to pick an army, is to go through and find the army that talks to you. The one that goes, hey, I can see you painting me like this. Paint me like one of your French girls. That type of deal. And in the long run, I think that's what makes things enjoyable for people,
Mm-hmm.
is to play something that really talks to you. That instead of trying to force yourself into painting a whole bunch of different stuff.
I think I just have more fun painting the random orcs than I do the army, personally.
Hey, and you know what? And there's nothing wrong with that. It might drive me a little nuts if I faced a Skittles orc army, but hey, you know.
I actually thought about just doing that, just randomly just build an army of orcs, just whatever colors.
And you know what? And that is completely okay. You know, people like me who like, there's a reason why I like ultramarines. You know, I love the color ultramarine blue, first off, but the fact that they're all nice and tidy and they have their own, that type of stuff. That's the army speaking to me is, you know, they have dress right dress. And same with Eldar. Eldar the same way. You know, they have their specialized units all have the same color coherency, but orcs, they are chaotic. You know, I think they're almost more chaotic than chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, chaos is chaos, but orcs are just on a completely different level of being just absolutely chaotic and crazy as shit.
Like, I just sent you a picture of one of the models, and I don't think I'd be able to use it on the table just because all he has is grenades. He doesn't have a blaster on him. He doesn't have anything else on him. I don't know how the rules go with that.
Where exactly are you sending me these messages, my dude?
Skype.
I'm sitting across the room from my Skype computer.
Yeah. Give me a second.
I'm like looking on Messenger for these messages, and I'm like, I don't see them.
Give me a second. I can send it to you.
But, yeah. Getting into...
Is there a ruling when the models don't have, like, the weapons and stuff?
Once again, it's one of those friendly game type stuff, a beer hammer. You know, if he's in a squad of Shudas, then just glue a Shuda to his base. And suddenly, he's a Shuda. Or glue one to his back on a sling or something. Or if he's in a complete squad of nothing but... Okay, that's actually kind of cool. And he's red, too. That's fitting.
That's the type of thing, like, all the ones I'm doing, the Skittles, like, one of them has 2 blasters. The one I'm painting right now has 2 big choppas. My desert one has the big Shuda. I'm combining both of them, having both weapons.
Okay, so the people who can't see this, which is everyone, because, you know, audio. So he has this orc in leather pants, and he's completely painted blood red. And he's got 2 grenades in one hand, a grenade in his mouth, 3 grenades on his backpack, another grenade in the other hand. So he's just like decked out in grenades. He could be a Booma boy.
There we go.
Booma boy.
They go boom.
They go boom real good. Oh, man. But, you know, that's the thing. This game is supposed to be fun. And that doesn't have to just be on the table. You know, you can have fun with this game and never play a game. Weird as that may be, but you can just enjoy painting. I know lots of people being on the painting side of things that never play a game, but they enjoy painting the models. I also know people that hate painting the models that enjoy playing the game too. And that's where commission artists come in. You know, everybody has their role. And then of course I know people who love painting and playing. And there really is no wrong answer when it comes to that. It's do what you enjoy. If you enjoy painting and you don't care about playing all that much, then paint to your heart's content and have fun doing it and paint the models like you want to and paint them to have fun. And in all honesty, if someone tries to go, no, you can't do that, that's a form of gatekeeping. You're not playing in a damn tournament. If you have a dude with 7 grenades and he's in a squad of Shuda boys, he's a damn Shuda boy. You know, people don't need to play ignorance on that stuff. But you do have those chads, those assholes that would do something like that. And you know, that's where you learn just to ignore and move away from those players. And hopefully the community self-regulates them out. Once again, it's if you're not doing something to be a dick about it, like you have the dude with 17 grenades and he's in a squad of Shudas, and you treat him just like a Shuda, you just modeled him a little different, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's what's the word I'm trying to look? You did not sculpt him or do anything with him for an advantage. There's no advantage to that model having 7 grenades on it. And there's no disadvantage to that model having 7 grenades as long as it's understood that he's a Shuda boy ahead of time. And he's in a squad of Shuda boy. Now, it'd be a little confusing if you had 20...
He's actually from a pack of boys, so I just took everything from the boys' grenades.
Right. Okay, so he's in a pack of boys. It would be different if every boy was like that. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, these guys are all shooters. And then all of a sudden, oh no, I didn't say they were shooters. I said they were this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's different because that can lead to actual confusion. But if you have that one dude and he's in a pack and he's in with 19 boys that are sculpted like boys, then there's no confusion there. Everybody and their mom knows what that is. It's a squad of shooters, or it's a squad of boys. I mean, there's no confusing that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes more sense. So yeah, I might just have Skittle orcs and normal orcs.
You know, you can have the flower power orcs. Flowers come in a whole bunch of different colors, so why can't orcs? Oh, Yeji was supposed to come on today, but she's busy. She's out having dinner.
Hey, maybe I don't know, some special dinner.
Well, I mean, Mother's Day is tomorrow.
It might be that.
It could be.
I get to wake up early tomorrow and go to a breakfast place with my mother tomorrow.
Hey, enjoy it.
I will.
I don't have a mother, so...
I know, that's why. As soon as I said that, I was like, oh, crap.
Hell, you're in a better spot to go visit my mom than I am.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm. Her ashes are up in Port Townsend.
It's only a 3-hour drive? 2.5? Something like that.
The big thing is you'd have to go across on the ferry.
Yeah.
That would be what takes the longest, is having to jump over on the ferry.
Let me think here. Sorry, it'd be 3 hours then.
Bird
with the ferry.
Flies for you, it's actually not that far.
No.
But the fact that you have the entire Puget Sound between you and there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You're kind of close to, you're north of Everett, aren't you?
More north than that. I'm just north of Mount Vernon.
Ah, okay. So you're like the coat factory people.
Yeah.
You'd have to go... Oh, wow. Okay, so you would have to go on 20 over to Figalo Island, then down 20 to Oak Arbor, and you would have to, at Fort Casey, ride the ferry. This is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. So...
Washington's so messed up with it.
No. Yes, it is. Because 20 actually enters... all right, so the same road that runs through your city also runs through fucking Port Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
The main state route is 20 going through Port Townsend, but it's fucking hilarious because you have to go through Fuca, Oak Arbor, and all that to Fort Casey, and you hop on a ferry, but the ferry route is labeled as State Route 20. Like, I shit you not. It's literally, there's like a little dash line signifying that it's a ferry run, but it's marked as State Route 20. The ferry is actually part of the state route. And then it docks at Port Townsend and continues being 20.
And then it runs down the ferry.
It runs down to the 101.
South, a little more south, and you can go wrap yourself around.
Yeah, that would be a freaking nightmare. You'd have to run 5 from where you live all the way down through Tacoma to Olympia. You'd have to hit the 101 at Olympia and cross the Narrows up on the 101 through Skokomish and all that, and then run 101 all the way up to Port Townsend.
Enough on. Let's explore Washington.
Bainbridge Island. Do I know Bainbridge Island? And my dad used to work... I'm trying to remember this island my dad used to work on in Washington. It was this little-ass island. We had to ride the ferry out there. It might have been Anderson Island? Smaller than that. It was hilarious whenever... Okay, it wasn't hilarious. My dad was a mechanic, and he got called out to work on a dump truck, and it was parked at the top of a hill, and is somewhere in Tacoma. Mm-hmm. One of the ferry docks in Tacoma.
Yeah, Drew.
And he... okay, there's the Narrows. Okay, I see how you would get... You don't have to go to Olympia. At Tacoma, you would hit 16 and run across the Narrows, and then run 16 through Bethel and all of that, and up to Paulsboro. Okay, yeah, I see the route that we used to take. The 3 to the 104, the Hood Canal and stuff. Okay, so the brakes failed on this loaded dump truck, and so it started going down the hill, rolling down the hill. And my dad was like running and trying to catch up with this thing. Like he was lauded as a hero and everything because could have he. I'm trying to remember the story. He jumped in the dump truck and managed to steer it somehow around cars, but it had no brakes. But he ended up hitting one of the pilings at the dock where the ferry docks and like completely destroy that entire piling. Like it knocked out service for that ferry for a hot minute. But he was, they said he was a hero because if he hadn't have steered the dump truck, it would have went through like 3 or 4 different cars. And what else? And the people at the ferry thanked him because they've been trying to get that piece replaced for years and never could. Damn, what island did he? I used to go out to that island.
I was just bugging you now, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Because it was this tiny ass island. So it wasn't like Vashon or anything like that or Fox or anything. It was this tiny ass little island. It didn't have shit on it. It might have been. And actually, the company he worked for on the island, that dump truck belonged to them.
Oh.
So, man, it's going to bug the hell out of me. I know it's around Tacoma.
And what's going to happen is you're going to be in the shower 2 days later and it's going to pop into your head.
No. Yeah, I'm literally looking at all the different islands in the Puget right now, and nothing is looking like. I know I've been on Bainbridge Island. I can't remember why, but I do remember going to Bainbridge. But that wasn't the reason, and I could just completely be misremembering.
I mean, you're old enough that you're allowed to do that now.
Yeah, I mean, it was 30 fucking years ago. I was like 9 and 10 when he worked there, so it was like 30 something years ago.
Like I said, you're old enough now.
It might have been Vashon. It might have been Vashon Island, because Ruston really sounds familiar. But also, that's where Point Defiance is. So, and we used to go there quite a bit, too. Good old Tacoma. See, I lived in the Federal Way area.
Okay.
I lived in Spanaway and Roy. I went to school in Graham. So, that's where I live. It's one of those things, how do you hide a 14,000-foot mountain? Put it in Washington. It's true. You know it's true.
Hence the laugh.
Yep. But yep, Spanaway. I went to, not Graham, I went to Yelm. And there's Roy. There's Oak Plain. Went to Oak Plain Elementary. Then I went to Roy Elementary. I hated. That's one thing. Okay, so one thing I don't think people understand, too, is the fact that, like, Washington has some really redneck areas. Like,
yes, it does.
Really, surprisingly redneck areas. Yeah, like Roy. Roy is fucking straight up redneck. I mean, if you go south of Tacoma and Seattle and you end up in like Yelm, Roy, Eatonville, Graham, places like that, it's some backwood shit. I mean, Roy's big feature is the Roy Rodeo. That should be a good indicator of how rednecky it is. So, in the entire Washington thing, are you for or opposed the splitting of Washington into 2 separate states?
Why would you? Why wouldn't you split California before Washington?
Well, one reason is that Washington actually has a natural divide, the Cascades, and
okay, East and West.
Right. And East and West Washington are so different from one another. You could almost plead the case like Western Washington, rainforests, big mountains, national parks. Eastern Washington, fucking deserts. Lots of fucking deserts.
And all the seasons.
Yeah, and all the seasons. Unlike Western Washington, which has spring for 10 months out of the 12.
Yeah.
And
we don't have a spring really. We have rain and then sun and then rain again.
Yeah. But yeah, there's hell, even when I lived there was a lot of push to try to get Washington to split into Eastern Washington and Western Washington because of the big point was that Eastern Washington did not feel they were properly represented at the state level because everything is in Western Washington. And they were talking about setting up a new capital in Spokane. That would be the capital of Eastern Washington. There was like a big push for this in the 80s and 90s.
2 of the biggest rivals in Washington is in the Eastern Washington. The Huskies and the Cougars.
True.
They both come from Eastern Washington. No, sorry. Huskies
I was
are
about to say,
Western, which is my state, my area.
yeah, I was about to say, well,
It's
University of
Huskies versus
Washington,
Cougars. Yeah.
and that is true. That is very true. Uh, oh, so here's something. It's a funny story. I After I moved, are you still there?
I'm here.
That was weird. Heard a big bling. So after I moved to Kentucky, I was 14 or 15 at the time. My local university is Western Kentucky University, and they were playing the Lady Husky in basketball. So it was a WKU Hilltoppers versus Lady Husky. So we showed up, and WKU's colors is red. Well, as you know, Huskies is purple. So we're sitting there. It's a wall of red. Western Kentuckians love their Hilltopper, just like Eastern Kentuckians love their Wildcat. But so we're sitting there, and it's like 3 people in purple in a sea of fucking red. They noticed us. The Lady Huskies actually noticed us because they were looking around when they walked in, and they're like, "We have fans here." No, it was totally cool. I got an autographed poster of the entire team because we went down to meet them after the thing because, no one else showed up at their locker room to see them. But yeah, we went down there. We got to meet the Lady Huskies, and they're like, we saw you guys in there, and it was actually very inspirational to see that we had fans out here. So that was my feel good story. So they didn't have like anything to sign right then and there. They're like, "Hey, give us your address." So they sent us out a couple team posters that was signed by the entire team. So that was really cool. That was my big experience with the Huskies. Because when I was growing up in Washington, Huskies were football, not basketball, football. They were one of the top teams in the nation. Like, they won the Rose Bowl almost every year. And that was like right before the Huskies ended up getting suspended from the Rose Bowl for something I can't remember. It was like some violation. They got suspended from the Rose Bowl for like 7 years or some crazy shit.
Speaking of, it's kind of interesting to see how much of a college town this place is. In my town, we have 4 different colleges up here. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, I think at this point in juncture we are rambling along.
Yeah,
I know I am. I'm sure there's the one person.
I'm sorry, I don't have enough topics to keep going.
I'm just tired. I normally can. It's one of those deals where I can normally come up with stuff off the cuff, and there's 2 problems. One, Chris is a newer player, so he doesn't exactly know how to feed into my talking. And 2, I'm just fucking tired. My brain is going, duh. So I'm just like, I don't even know. I just don't even know what to say right now. It's one of those deals where I'll probably wake up tomorrow and go, oh, this is what we should have talked about. Do not let the... Okay, so I was scrolling along and I saw one of my friends post. Well, this is actually funny. Do not let the geese in the building. They do not work here. But this same friend of mine sent me a picture. Apparently, he now has a guard goose. I sent this picture in
the guard peacock.
Yeah, guard goose, guard peacock. Yeah, he has a guard. I messaged. He's like, yeah, our peacock, our pet our outside peacock chased off the contractor. I'm like, hold on a second. Pause. Peacock. So he sends me pictures, and I'm like, you do realize that's not a natural bird for Kentucky, right? He's like, yeah, no, it's from Southeast Asia. And I was like, and it just showed up randomly one day, walked out of the woods, and it's hanging around your house. He's like, yeah, my guy, okay. Do you not question this? Like, where the fuck does a peacock come from in the woods of Kentucky? It's a fucking peacock.
Probably, if there's a zoo nearby, probably flew away from the zoo.
He said it's over an hour away.
Probably flew away from the zoo. They can fly. They can.
Well, not if it's a zoo animal. Because my exact words were, why the fuck do you have a male peacock at your house?
I mean, in all the zoos I've ever gone to, they always have peacocks walking around randomly. I don't know if they're just released and they just don't fly away.
They don't fly very well, and most of them have their wings clipped. Like what zoo is it? The Fort Wayne Zoo in Indiana? They have a whole bunch of peacocks, to include a whole bunch of albino peacocks. But I was like, he's like, I don't think this is from your area. And he's like, I'm aware. It's like shaking my head. He's like, it's native to Southeast Asia, but it's in Kentucky woods. And it's like, and this doesn't strike you as, I don't know, a bit odd in some way that a peacock just walked out of your woods? He's like, very odd, actually. But, well, it happened. How far is the zoo from you? Nowhere near. Hour-ish. I was like, only you, dude. Only you. He's like, I do worship a god of madness. Odin just isn't magic and wisdom. I was like, you're his fucking avatar, dude. All right. Yeji is not feeling up to coming on right now. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea to kind of cut and run at this point before I fall asleep in my chair.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining in this probably deathly boring episode of Muddle's Workshop After Hours. Hopefully you learned something new. If not, I need more bang. Like I said, give me a call. You can find us on the socials at facebook.com/The Muddles Workshop. We also have a webpage. It's muddles-workshop.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at both of those.com/MWH podcast. And you can find me over at the TikTok at Muddles Workshop. I actually finally got the Muddles Workshop name there. But anywho, enjoy yourself, fine people. Maybe if I'm feeling more awake, maybe we might even do a bonus episode next week. If not, we'll see you in a couple weeks after this. Talk to you folks later. Bye.
Bye.